Hello everyone, welcome back to NorcetWithJaspreet. with Jaspreet. This video is about the fundamentals of reproduction. So इस वीडियो में हम कुछ important aspects को discuss करेंगे which are related to the fundamentals of reproduction. So here we begin. So the first thing is that time span between the LH surge and ovulation. You need to know that from the LH surge till ovulation, there's a time span that is 32 to 36 hours, right? And if you talk about the size of Graafian follicle just before the ovulation, it is 18 to 20 mm, right? The third thing is that the hormone which is responsible for maintaining the corpus luteum in pregnant female, it is HCG, which is human chorionic gonadotrophin. And if we talk about the non-pregnant female, it is LH, right? So this was the third important aspect. The next is if you talk about the lifespan of the corpus luteum, ठीक है, अगर हम corpus luteum के lifespan की बात करें ना, pregnant female it is some 10 to 12 weeks, ठीक है, but एक non-pregnant female में the duration or the lifespan of the corpus luteum is just 10 to 12 days, right? If you talk about the maximum activity of the corpus luteum, it is seen 8 day after the ovulation. जो corpus luteum होता है उसकी maximum activity देखी जाती है, right? The next thing is that in a 28-day cycle, ovulation 14th day पर होती है, and if you talk about the cycle, if it is 32-day long cycle, the ovulation will occur on the day 18th, and if it is a 40-day cycle, the ovulation occurs on the day 26th, right? ये कुछ important aspects हैं which are important and are required to be remembered. ठीक है, अगर 28-day cycle होती है, ovulation 14th day पे होती है, right? The next is if the cycle duration is 32 days, the ovulation will occur on the day 18th, and in a 40-day cycle, the ovulation would occur on the day 26th. Right? I hope it is clear. Moving on to the next. Right? The next thing is that the fertilization. Fertilization एक ऐसा process है when the sperm is going to fertilize the ovum. Right? But उसके बीच में कुछ important aspects हैं that you must know. Like what? When the sperm enters the female body, it gives its capacity to fertilize the ova. And this process is called as capacitation. Capacitation के बारे में एक important aspect है ये कि जो sperm है it is generating the capacity so that it can fertilize the ova. And the site of capacitation is the female genital tract, right? Fertilizable lifespan of a sperm is 48 to 72 hours, and if you talk about the ova, it is 12 to 24 hours. ठीक है, इनका fertilizable lifespan होता है, right? The lifespan for the fertilization of sperm is 48 to 72 hours, right? And when the sperm is going to fertilize the ova, it is going to form a zygote, right? And this is very clear, right? If you move on to the next thing, the next important aspect is that zygote is a two-celled. ठीक है, zygote क्या होता है? Two-celled होता है. Further the division occurs and it forms two-celled, 4-cell, 8-cell and 16-cell state, right? 16-cell को क्या बोला जाता है? It is called as morula, which is mulberry shaped, right? 16-cell होता है morula. You must know the name of the 16-cell state, right? It is morula. Okay. Now zygote is 2N, right? It is made up of sperm and ova after the fertilization. जो 2-cell होता है वो further divide करता है and forms the 4-cell, 8-cell, 16-cell state, right? जो 16-cell state होती है, it is called as morula, which is mulberry shaped, right? On the third day of fertilization, post the fertilization, जो fertilizable products होते हैं, the products of fertilization होते हैं, they remain inside the fallopian tube till day 3 after the fertilization, right? Till day 3 after the fertilization, जो products of conception होते हैं वो fallopian tube में ही present होते हैं, but on the day 4 it will enter the uterine cavity. 3 दिन तक it will stay inside the fallopian tube, and on the day 4th it will move to the uterine cavity. Then what happens? Inside the uterine cavity, fluid enters and it is known as blastocyst. जब uterine cavity में enter हो जाता है, then enters the fluid. जो fluid filled cavity बनने के बाद we start to call it as a blastocyst. अब blastocyst में क्या है? Division हो चुकी है in the form of trophoblast on the peripheries, inner cell mass which is this, and a layer which is called as zona pellucida. ठीक है, ये हो गया. उसके बाद zona pellucida 5 days after the fertilization it gets lost, which is called as zona hatching. ठीक है. First of all, what happens is पहले 3 दिन तक the products of conception will remain in the fallopian tube. डे 4 में यूट्राइन कैविटी में एंटर करते हैं एंड डे 5 पे क्या होता है, दिस जोना पेरिसूडा it is lost 5 days after the fertilization and this process is called as zona hatching. जब जिस प्रोसेस में zona pellucida is lost, that process is called as zona hatching. Right? I hope it is clear. सबसे पहले fertilization हुई 2 cell, 4 cell, 6 cell, 2 cell, 4 cell, 8 cell and 16 cell products बने. Right? Right? Then what happens? The blastocyst then attaches itself to the uterine cavity. This process is called as implantation. It is occurring 6 to 8 days after the fertilization. Right? Completed on the 10th or 11th day after the fertilization. Most common site of implantation is upper posterior wall of the uterus. Right? ये कुछ important key aspects हैं which are to be remembered as it is. Right? कब वो start हुआ implantation का process, when it is completed, and what is the site of implantation. Everything has to be remembered, right? The next thing is that after the implantation, the endometrium is called as decidua. Okay, now next. After the implantation, the endometrium is called as decidua. ठीक है, अब डेसिडुआ में क्या होता है, proliferation हो रही है एंडोमेट्रियम की, under the influence of which hormone it is progesterone, and all the process is called as the decidua reaction. ठीक है, this process is called as decidua reaction. And after the implantation, endometrium is known to be as decidua. किस हार्मोन के इन्फ्लुएंस के अंडर होता है, under the influence of progesterone, right? The next is small amount of bleeding at the time of implantation is called as the Hartmann sign. This is also important कि Hartmann sign क्या होता है, it is a small amount of bleeding that occurs at the time of implantation. ठीक है, अब कुछ important things है that you must remember. सबसे पहले the part of the decidua around the blastocyst is called as decidua paritalis. ठीक है, part below the blastocyst which is going to form the future placenta, it is called as decidua basalis, and the part above the blastocyst is called as decidua capsularis. ठीक है, अब जैसे जैसे fetal development होती है, division होती है, what happens is जो decidua paritalis होती है और decidua capsularis है, they get fused. ठीक है, और वो further क्या बना लेते हैं, they form the decidua vera. ठीक है, एंड जब फर्दर डेवलपमेंट होती है, जो डेसिडुआ बेसालिस होता है, इट इज गोइंग टू फॉर्म द मैटरनल साइड ऑफ द प्लेसेंटा. ठीक है, ये कुछ डिविजन्स होती है व्हिच आर एज अ पार्ट ऑफ ग्रोइंग अप ऑफ द फीटस. ठीक है, ये कुछ डेवलपमेंट्स हैं व्हिच अकर एज अ पार्ट ऑफ डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द फीटस. राइट, एक लास्ट कंसेप्ट आता है फॉर द मॉर्बिडिटी एडहेरेंट प्लेसेंटा. मॉर्बिडिटी एडहेरेंट प्लेसेंटा में क्या होता है, सबसे पहले देयर इज अ टर्म व्हिच इज कॉल्ड एज प्लेसेंटा एक्रेटा. ठीक है, सबसे पहले ब्लास्टोसिस्ट अपने आप को इम्प्लांट कहां पे कर देगा, था मायोमेट्रियम. So if the blastocyst is inside the myometrium, the placenta will get implanted inside the myometrium, and this is called as placenta accreta. ठीक है, if the placenta is situated deep inside the myometrium, it is called as placenta increta, and if it attaches itself to the serosa of the uterus, then it is called as placenta percreta. ये कुछ morbidity adherent placenta है. And with this we complete the process of implantation. ठीक है, and with all this discussion, here we come to an end of this topic of implantation, which forms the fundamental of the reproduction. Right? I hope this video was informational for you. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more. Thank you.